Today's topic is called the purpose of fasting. Is it necessary? Good question. Some of you, yes, you grew up being told that you must fast as a Christian, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you something. Fasting, in the beginning, when you're still a baby Christian, you might not get it. What's the importance? You might feel like, oh, I'm just starving myself, pray. Can't God hear me when I have something in my stomach and all? Yeah, that's a good question. Can't He hear you? Of course He can hear you. But as you grow spiritually, as you begin to mature, you become too sensitive to the things of the Spirit. You will also realize the difference. When you pray most of the time without having fasted, and when you have fasted, there comes the difference. So fasting, even while you're still a baby Christian, you might just not feel it as you're not too sensitive to the Spirit, but it helps you, it tunes you to the things of the Spirit to the point. That's why it's most of the commonly you find that after you had fasted, a certain prayer request of you was met. Things which when you had not fasted could not be met, but after fasting they are met. It's because you realize as you grow spiritually and you realize that it works and it's so important. Sometimes you won't even want to go minister. You won't even want to go sing in the worship team without having fasted. Because fasting, normally it tunes you up. You no longer get concerned with worldly things. The more you eat, the more you become so fleshly filled. That's why it's easy that if I'm eating, even if I'm going to minister, if I'm going to pray or I'm going to worship or whatever I do, I'll be more, or I'm going to share the word of God, I'll be more tuned to the worldly things. It's easy for you to think of worldly desires. You think lustfully, you think of wicked stuff and all. But once you're in a fasting, your body becomes too weak and your spirit becomes active. That's why even when you pray, it's easy to focus now on God. I'm sure some of you might relate. Some of you might feel like you are weak and all, but there's some time where you are not even feeling weak, or it depends. There are some different types of fasting, as you know. Some you might be drinking, and if you are drinking something, most likely you might not really feel weak. If you are in a dry fast, then you might feel weak. But at the end of the day, is that your body won't be active. So it won't be easy for you to think of maybe sexual things in your mind and all. Hence, now when you are praying, or maybe you are doing your fasting in church, at church and all, maybe you are at 5 o'clock or later in the day, on evening times, you're going to a service, it's easy for you to pray with all focus. Your mind is set on God. And once that is the case, you also become too sensitive to the things of the Spirit and even hearing God. Hence, it becomes too easy for you to do things. It becomes too easy for you to focus. And even when you pray, your prayers, they become too effective. They become too effective because now you are tuned into the spirit world. Hence, what I'm saying and what I've been trying to say is, you realize even when you mature, the difference. There are some things you now feel it, that now that I'm fasting, I can feel that I'm more focused. My spirit is more tuned to God. I remember there were times in which some years ago, I think it was back maybe 2015 or 2014. Yeah, but I think the last time this was on a cool test was in 2016. So yes, there were times in which I would try to pray alone in my room, and then I would realize I'm not focusing. As I'm praying, I'm somewhere else, I can't connect. I feel like there is a wall that is blocking my prayers on top. But the moment I try to pray while I'm in a fasting, I will realize, I'm connecting. I can feel that I'm praying. So that wall, I think it dissolved that time when I was in a 40 days fast. So from that time, I've never for once, back in 2016, I've never for once experienced my prayers being blocked even when I'm not in a fasting. I guess maybe I managed to tap into another dimension in the spirit. So, but what I'm trying to show you is that fasting, that is the impact of fasting. But when you want to eat and want to pray and all, That's why you realize some of your prayers are not effective. That's why even some disciples were trying to cast out the demon, and Jesus said, this don't go out alone, but by prayer and fasting. So fasting does get you into a realm which, when you're in the flesh, is difficult. Not just because you can't get there, but your flesh is blocking you, is standing in your path. It's difficult for you to tap in. But the moment your spirit is more active, automatically you will also feel it, that yeah, now I can connect with God automatically. So if you don't feel those things, it may be because of your maturity. Sometimes even when you don't feel it, you find that you manage to tap into a different realm. You're just not feeling it yet because of your sensitivities in the spirit. So fasting is very important. Consider it. Even if you're not feeling anything, be fasting. You will tap into that realm. You'll see the importance. So when you're about to do something important, that's why some of us, before we minister, we make sure we get into a fast. We focus with God. We don't just go there and preach and all, because we see the difference. When we didn't even prepare, we didn't pray before we go and minister, you won't even feel that anointing, that electric whatever. It doesn't just happen because of our minds. No. Even if you feel like now you want to expect, you became lazy to. I even myself try to test it and go and minister and be like, God help me. No, it's not by my works, it's by your grace. If I didn't pray, I won't even feel that anointing. But it only happens when I have prayed. So I realized that this is not a coincidence. It's not because of my mindset, because I tried to tune in my mind that I want to feel the anointing, although I didn't pray so much. And it won't. But the moment you pray, it's almost like guaranteed that you will feel that presence of God working, that electric and all those who know, who minister, the mature Christians, you know what I'm talking about. So this is real. The spirit world is real, people. Pray. Focus on God. Fast. Be focused. Okay? This is what I had for you today. Subscribe and like my video. Share. And as for me, Ishmael, and your priest, we'll see you next time. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell, okay? So that you're notified every time I upload new videos. Subscribe.